How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping out another video. Right, guys, this is a story in the Liverpool Echo again, link in the description below like I always do. Now, the other day, you might have seen me cover a story about a former pub in Wavertree in Liverpool that was it was going to house 17 former drug addicts and former prisoners, right? Which, as a former prisoner, I've got to respect this and I fully support it wholeheartedly. Locals in the local area were up in arms, kicking off about it, saying it's disgusting, trying to cite that there's 4 pubs in local proximity and just using like very weak arguments to try and stop this pub being approved to be turned into accommodation. It's the lady that's in charge of this situation is a lady by the name of Stewart. She's a self-made millionaire. You've got to respect that. Again, she's worked from the bottom and she's grafted through the good times and the hard times to make it as like I say, a self-made millionaire, and she's trying to help people as well. And I think it's called Vitality Homes, if I remember correctly from the other day. But like I say, the locals in the area are saying, "Oh, former prisoners and drug addicts, we don't want them on our doorstep," screaming, burning hell at this like a meeting that they had and stuff. The reality is these people are former being the key word, former drug addicts, right? Former criminals, right, who want to better themselves. And if you leave prison or you leave a rehab facility and you are clean of drugs and you are away from crime, the main thing is a lot of these people want to turn their life round, right? And what they need is a foundation to work up from. And this is a foundation to work up from, and I respect that massively. Like I say, anyway, guys, I want to read the story and then we'll go into it, right? So anyway, so it says here, owner heartbroken after pub at centre of controversial rehab centre plans are smashed up. Kate Stewart has condemned the attack on the former Cuffs Pound pub on Wavertree High Street as evil. The owner of a former pub set to reopen as a rehab centre for recovering addicts said she's heartbroken after discovering the building has been vandalised this weekend. Self-made millionaire Kate Stewart condemned the attack on the former Cuffs Pound pub on Wavertree High Street as evil, and said it showed lack of acceptance for those suffering with addiction in our city. The businesswoman was granted permission to open a 17-bedroom centre at the site by Liverpool City Council earlier this month. But the plans have not gone down well with some local residents who have vowed to barricade themselves into the building to stop it from opening. The rows appeared to have taken an even nastier turn this morning, with Kate discovering the front windows of the former pub had been smashed in with the word "no" daubed on the outside of the building. It is unclear who was behind the attack or if it's directly linked to the other plans. Directly linked to the plans, which of course it is. Speaking to the Echo, mum of 4, Kate revealed the personal reasons why she was back in the centre and said, "I actually can't believe it. This scheme is a big passion of mine. The reason why I am doing this is because my family have been ripped apart by addiction. This is something I am not making a profit on. There comes a time in your life when you have done well for yourself and you want to give something back by helping vulnerable people. What message is this sending to people who are struggling with addiction?" The centre will be run by Vitality Homes, who won permission to open it for 12 months in the ex-police station and pub, after which it will be assessed. Up to 600 neighbours opposed the plans for the centre, voicing concerns about crime, with one telling planning officers who approved it to burn in hell. As well as smashing the front windows in, vandals have spray painted graffiti on the building, including the word "no" on the door. There is no suggestion anyone publicly involved in opposing the plans has any connection to the attack. Well, they've got to say that, guys, for obviously legal reasons, because it would be slanderous should they say that. Kate described the attack on the building as evil and said those who oppose the plan need to be more sympathetic about drug and alcohol addiction. She said, "I have taken concerns of residents on board, but it is a misconception that addicts commit crime." It's not actually, I've got to disagree there. People that are involved in addiction have to feed themselves, and they are some of the most persistent offenders in society. But these people have been through the system, have been, like I say, become rehabilitated and kick their addiction and are clean and want to become productive members of society. So I'm all for this. I've done so much research. I've been talking to people up and down the country, speaking to people affected by addiction. I've spoken to accountants and solicitors who have turned to drink when their relationships have broken down. It can happen to anybody. The centre is about believing in people and giving them a second chance. It will be for people who are coming out of rehab and all they want is a bit of help to get their lives back on tracks and to get back their families. Who are we to say those people, no, you don't deserve our help? Do people want to see more homeless people on the streets? Kate said that when the centre opens, it will be run by a team of experts, including one of the top social workers in the Northwest. She added the programme will deliver training and educational workshop as well as counselling and will have a strict policy for those wanting to become a service user. Candidates will also have had to have 4 months of abstinence, so obviously that's 4 months off drink or drugs. I was also told this plan was about helping former prisoners as well. Many people that have battled addiction have also been in prison. Behind them, before they sit before a panel of medical experts where they will be interviewed. Kate admitted she was furious when she first found out about what happened to the building, but said the incident has made her more determined than ever to make the scheme a success. Kate said, this has not scared or intimidated me. I have not bothered about bricks and mortar. I am determined to make this scheme a success and help the vulnerable people in our city. But I would to say, whoever has done this, God forbid anyone in their family ever fell on hard times and had nowhere to go. My door is always open. Addiction is an illness that gets brushed under the carpet. We need to look after our own and the most vulnerable people in our city, and that is all I'm trying to do. Merseyside police were contacted for comment. So sorry guys, I was all over the place then. Right, so like I say, this Kate Stewart, right, very successful business lady. I don't know what her business is, but the fact is her family have been touched by addiction themselves, and that's why she's so passionate about it. Anyone that's willing to give people in society, the most vulnerable and susceptible people in society, somewhere to live and somewhere to work up from and use it as a platform or a stepping stone to get their own place and then move on and hopefully live a life that's free of drugs or alcohol. Like I say, when I first read about the plans, the first time that I read about this story a few weeks ago, which I covered in a vlog, it stated that it was for former prisoners and people that suffer with addiction. Now, like I said, she seems very... they're interviewing people in the sense of like they want people that are actually trying to reform themselves and kick their addictions and stuff. Now, like I said, she wants people that have been 3 or 4 months abstinent, which means they've been off drug and alcohol for at least 3 or 4 months. It's a very hard addiction to kick, guys, and like I say, it's a very vicious cycle and cyclone in the sense of like, if you are an addict, it's inevitable you've got to commit crime to feed yourselves and to feed your habit, and that's what many people do. Now, like I say, it is a failed society, guys. We're one of the most developed countries in the world, but yeah, the rich are getting richer and people are slipping into austerity, and it's a struggle to put food on the table, and people have got to cut corners. And like I say, the amount of people, guys, I go into Manchester, right, and the amount of people I see in in shop doorways that are, like the other day I was in town, yeah, and I walked past 3 people, separate people, all monged out on spice, literally like not asleep, just literally sat there like just the usual spice sort of situation. And it breaks me out, to be honest with you guys. A lot of these people that have ended up on the streets or something, like I say, they've been in prison, they go out, they carry on committing crime, they can't break their addiction, they go back to prison, they come out, they commit crime, they feed themselves, they feed the habit, and it's just a very vicious cycle. It's very hard to break. So for people to actually be able to break that cycle and come out of rehabilitation places and apparently prison as well, to be given a second chance in society, and by Kate Stewart intervening, what she's actually doing is she's not running it for profit, guys. She said there, I'm not doing this for profit. She's made millions and millions of pounds, so it's not a money-making exercise. She's doing it because she's passionate. And take the money away, she'd probably still do it, and she's very passionate about it. And you've got to respect that, because like I say, a lot of these people that are homeless and stuff like that, before they've ever like fallen into addictions, that addiction stems from somewhere, and it's normally sexual abuse, physical abuse, like I say, many different reasons and stuff. And they're some of the most vulnerable and susceptible people in society, and like I say, they do what they know. And like I say, and many of them, it's just that vicious cyclone of drugs, crime to feed the habit, to commit crime to feed the habit, commit crime to feed the habit, and then eventually end up in prison, and then they come out of prison, they're kicked out with £46, they go straight back into the gutter. So the fact that this Kate Stewart is interjecting and willing to take people on and help them better themselves. 17 bedrooms, guys, that's 17 people. Now, from them 17 people, they're going to give them education, skills and training, which, like I say, is a fantastic initiative. And then eventually they'll probably put them down, they'll sort out the benefits for them, and hopefully then they'll get a job, they'll get their accommodation. They might put them down on the local charities or housing lists and stuff like that to get housed. They'll be working with other like communities, like say that it's like somewhere that helps people that with addiction that have ended up finally finding somewhere to live, and they might help them sort them out with furniture or a furniture grant or something like that. So it's a great initiative, and 17 people at a time. It's going to reduce reoffending rates because a lot of people that are that previously had addictions and stuff have had to commit crime to feed that addiction. So it's a great initiative, and 17 people at a time. And then some may fall off the wagon, so to speak, and might have a, as they call it, a relapse, where they go back to drugs or go back to drink. But they're going to be given stability, they're going to be given comfort, they're going to be given support, counselling, education, skills and training to better themselves, to become hopefully productive members of society, paying tax back into the system, cutting reoffending rates and cutting homelessness. What's the problem? It's a win-win, guys. But all these society, all they're looking at is, oh God, we're going to have a load of former drug addicts, like heroin addicts or whatever, like in the local area. They're going to be raiding our houses when we're at work and all the rest of the nonsense. People are very short-sighted, right? And Kate Stewart, I respect what she's doing here. I think it's a great initiative. I'd love to get involved with it, to be honest. It sounds like a very, very good initiative. She's doing this off her own back because her family have been touched by addiction, and she's investing a shitload of money into it. So it's changing lives. It's a selfless act. It's about helping other people. And like I say, these people, if you kick, let's play devil's advocate. Let's say that it doesn't come to fruition. It's already got the permission, so it's going to be built. It's going to be refurbished into 17 a bedroom, like a accommodation, like temporary housing, whatever you want to call it. Let's say that this Kate Stewart says, you know what? All right, all these local people, right, I accept it, I'm pulling out, right, then all you're going to have really is a load of people that have battled with addiction, kick them back onto the street, they go back to taking drugs, they have to feed that habit by committing crime. They could rob these local residents that are smashing the windows and daubing no on the wooden door at the front in black graffiti saying no and smashing the windows, right? It could be your house that's broken into. It could be your car that's broken into. It could be your daughters, your sons, your brothers, your auntie, your uncle, right? This person, this Kate Stewart is actually trying to make it so these people don't reoffend, don't commit crime, kick their addiction, which is a very hard thing to do. They're breaking a cycle of crime and they're breaking a cycle of addiction, and that is two of the very, very hard, man, very, very hard. Like I say, let's go to heroin. Heroin's it was at a time was the most addictive substance known to man. It was an opiate-based drug, and like I say, it grips people. And then, like I say, but spice is now that drug that's taken over, as it's very potent, it's cheaper, it's more addictive. The addictive tendencies is mental, and it's like you really don't know what you're going to get when these people take these drugs. So like I say, the fact that she's working hard to help these people, the alternative is kick them on the streets. They go back to committing crime, sleeping in shop doorways, begging, breaking into places, car theft, burglaries, commercial burglaries, dwellings, right, to steal, to feed themselves. And like I say, all these local residents, could be all of you. Let's say it affects one of you. You'll be fuming, and then there's fewer police on the streets, right? So this is a great initiative, and these local people are very short-sighted and actually need to get with the program and actually look at the bigger picture and the long-term picture. This will change people's lives massively. Some people, are they all going to become productive members of society and not go back to crime? No, I'm not that stupid or arrogant to believe that, but they're giving them the chance, and they're given the alternative is just leave them in the gutter, committing crime and taking drugs. This lady, this Kate Stewart, is taking it upon herself because she's been touched by addiction in her own family to interject, to better these people's opportunities in society. And like I say, get them on benefits initially. They'll get housing benefit for their accommodation. It's not a money-making exercise for her. These people will be interviewed, they'll be helped. Like I say, they'll have drug and alcohol workers with them. They'll have employers, local employers on side, so they can actually get jobs. Like I said, they'll eventually get put down on the housing, so they'll get somewhere to live. And then, like I say, and then that fills up a space for another person. Another person will hopefully go down the same route, become a productive member of society, skills training, education, counselling, And then, like I say, the sky's the limit for these people. They then get somewhere to live. They're living. They're becoming productive members of society, breaking the cycle of crime, not going back to streets. So it's reducing homelessness, reducing reoffending, and paying tax back into the system. Then someone else goes in there and takes that person's spot because he's got somewhere to live and he's got a full-time job now. It's a great initiative, guys. And I'm sorry that I'm going on about it, but I'm very passionate about it. A lot of these people will have been in prison. When I first read the story, these people, it said former prisoners and people that have been through rehabilitation centres. Massive, massive initiative. Great, great work. These people that are in the local area, please open your eyes. Don't be so short-sighted. And yeah, look at the bigger picture. That's all I can really say on that matter. As a former prisoner myself, never turned to drugs or anything or drink. My dad's an alcoholic. My sister's an alcoholic. But apart from that, I've only witnessed addiction when I've been in a homeless hostel and when I've been in prison. And yeah. Anyway, guys, going to leave it there. Like, comment, subscribe. Cody out.